Something for everybody. I certainly know about these things and that they don't always work that well. I've been stopped at airports several times. Once they said, please come with me, and they made me go sit in a room. And I'll tell you, even just sitting in a room sounds benign. It's kind of scary. And you sit there for a while and they won't tell you anything. And I actually finally got one person, he told me that he thought what had happened was my name was similar to somebody, Ali Abu Bakr or something like that. But fortunately, they didn't send me to Guantanamo, and you know, I mean, this is scary. These are people who've been there for a decade, and never charged. Many of them probably never did anything, and the lawyers have pretty strong proof that they really didn't. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, they were in collected works when somebody else was there. So we really have a pretty faulty system, and you may say, well, that's the way it goes, but I'd like you to say that if it was you that was put there. I think then your attitude would change very, very fast. That is one of the problems in this country, is a lot of the people who poo-poo all of these things suddenly change their tune when it's their son or their daughter or something else. Immediately, boom, they change their tune. Our media and we ourselves find it very, very easy to kind of latch onto individuals. We love individuals, and it's all part of that sort of celebrity culture. And what's unfortunate about it is that it takes the attention away from the underlying issues. And the issue is not whether he's a good or a bad man, or whether he had a girlfriend who does pole dancing or anything else. It really doesn't matter. What matters is, what kind of a society do we live in? Is it the same society that they tell us in school it is, and in the textbooks and the societies that we sing anthems toward, or is it something else? Process from Congress. And I would talk to some of the people on those committees, and they would vary their answers from, I can't talk about it, to, even if I did talk about it, I don't really know anything. And one of the things that had been discovered years ago was that the people on the committees, because they are just regular people like us and don't really know anything about these things, they rely on their staff members. And of course, very early on, the intelligence agencies decided to put their own people on the staff. So whatever these people are being told, the people like Dianne Feinstein and so forth, who are outspoken that Snowden is a bad guy and has endangered her interests, she's getting briefings from people who may have other masters that they serve. And again, we have former staff who've talked about this. So you can look this all up. I like to say everything I say is well documented. The people who challenge me are almost always people who didn't read the books, almost always. The problem also is that someone like Feinstein is that her husband is a big defense contractor. You know, I mean, they've personally benefited tremendously from that, and they're hardly alone. There's how many millionaires in the Senate and how many in the House, and you know, they have investments in these things, and in many ways even more active than that. And of course, with the NSA, it all comes down to computers, and the computers are supposed to, you know, look and see who in, you know, Paraguay called who in, you know, Lower Slobovia, who then called your house. Of course, they're not looking at you, but you know, and then they make some kind of conclusion about who needs to be swept up where. And computers, believe it or not, are fallible. And if you have a computer, you know what I mean. And even worse, then they have humans who do human intel. And if you know any humans, you know how fallible they are. So this is not a very perfect system at all. And also, one wants to ask, what constitutes a troublemaker? And it is quite possible that the people that we think, you know, that they say hate our way of life are actually the very same people, if they lived here, who would be sort of the Tom Paines, the people we say, now there's somebody who really speaks their mind and takes risks and so on. And so it's a very complicated system, even philosophically. One troublemaker, I guess, was a fellow named Michael Hastings. How many of you have heard of him? Okay, about half of you. Michael Hastings was a freelance journalist who did a story for Rolling Stone, where he interviewed General Stanley McChrystal in Afghanistan, and you may remember this story broke very huge because McChrystal, supposedly unaware that this was going to go in an article, dissed Obama in major ways, and then Obama essentially was put in a position where he either had to fire this man or be deemed forever a wuss, and so he fired him. But there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and if you do visit our website, WhoWhatWhy, and just go into the search box and put in Afghanistan, you can read about all the back channel power struggles that were going on when Obama, for example, decided, oh, well, I'll just reduce the troops in Afghanistan, which is what I told my supporters I would do. And then immediately these leaks came out, and then it was like, oh,